This video will cover program and file management in Ubuntu. To start off, I'll begin with showing how to use apt for program management. Apt is something called a package manager, and this is basically a tool that makes it easier to install, remove, and update applications on Ubuntu. To install programs, you use sudo apt install, and you don't need to use sudo if you're on the root account. In this demo, I'll be installing Chromium, which is the version of Chrome that you install for Ubuntu. Chromium and yes. And it shows you how much it has downloaded. After installing it, you can see that it exists by running Chromium-browser. And Chromium has been set up. To remove a program, you can use sudo apt remove or sudo apt purge, and then whatever program you want to remove. The difference between the two is that sudo apt remove only gets rid of the program, while sudo apt purge also removes the settings relating to it. On this computer, there's currently a game on it called Pinball, and I will just remove it right now. Sudo apt remove pinball. During CyberPatriot, there's 3 main types of applications you'll want to remove. The first one is games, which I've already showed you, and the second one is things called hacking programs. An example is Nmap, and this is something that scans open ports and can be used to aid hackers in finding a vulnerable system. And then the last one would be unnecessary software. Remina is an example of something that's installed by default, and it's also something that is usually not wanted because it's a remote desktop client. When you're doing this, you should make sure you have good judgment though. Do not remove apps such as Ubuntu software because they're actually useful, and removing them does not give you any points. Also, be sure not to remove any applications that the README says are needed. The 2 types of programs usually in the README would be a normal program like Chromium or a service like SSH. Also, for services that are not listed in the README, you should remove all of them. After you remove a program, you should then run sudo apt auto remove. This removes dependencies that the program installed and are now not needed. To list all the programs on your computer, you can run apt list. However, usually this command takes up too much space on the terminal, so scrolling all the way up will not even show all of them. To fix this, you can output the result to a file, and I'll just name it programs.txt. And then when you open the file, you will see all of the programs. Another important aspect of apt is updating programs. This can be done by running apt update and apt upgrade. What this does is it first updates all the sources where apt gets its information from. So if there are any new sources for updated programs, apt will get it. And then upgrade is where apt actually installs the new program version. Then you have to wait for all of the packages to upgrade. While this is going on, we'll want to now check out auto updates. First go to settings, and then once setting pops up, you'll see an option for software and updates. So go to this. For this tab, you want all 4 of these to be selected, and make sure download is from the server US, and make sure this one is not checked off, otherwise you won't be able to install programs properly. These 4 check marks are just where it actually gets the software from, All four of these are pretty useful. Then we go into updates. Make sure only these two are checked so that you have stable and secure updates. And you want to make sure that this automatically checks for updates daily. And for security updates, download and install automatically. The other two options don't really matter. Along with using the command line to install programs, you can also use the Ubuntu Software Center, which is this. From here you can see the programs that are installed as well, and it makes it a little easier than an apt list, although it's not as extensive. Here's another example of something that is not good, Wireshark. It's used to detect network traffic, and this is something that hackers can use. So we remove it, and remove both of them. You can also install programs here, like this. Then you'll need to use your sudo password here. However, since this is not actually something I need right now, I will remove it as soon as it installs. Another thing you need to do is find running programs that are listening. Listening programs provide access to the computer through a port, and these can potentially be backdoors that you want to remove. You'll want to run sudo in front of this as well, because if you don't, you won't see the program names. So sudo netstat-nlp will show you the listening programs. But usually the ones at the bottom are not very important. This is not bad, and all these are also normal. However, this NC here, listening on port 89, is a problem, and you'll want to stop that. To stop this program, just run sudo pkill nc. And when you run this again, netcat should not be running anymore. Yes, no more netcat. Let's check on our updates now. Doesn't look like it's done yet. Yeah, these take a really long time to finish. Finally, you'll want to know how to delete files on the computer. This is basically the only file management you do for Ubuntu and CyberPatriot. You don't really add files or rename them. You're just more trying to remove illegal files. MP3s. Prohibited files are usually media files such as MP3s, images, and movies. However, you should make sure you do not remove icon files like for this program, or just images that you need for a program. Otherwise, you will have problems on the system later on. So it's usually images that are not in the program's directory. To find files in a certain directory with a given file extension, you would use find, and then the directory I want to look in is home/user, which is where all my files are, and then type F for file, and then -name, and I'll be looking for WAV files this time. So star.wav. It looks like there is one WAV file, and since this is a sound file and it's just randomly in my directory, should remove it. rm-f, and then this path. You can also do this through the GUI file manager, which is files, and then you can press this and then do, like, if you want to look for text files, you can do .txt, but it's usually slower. Oh, I just noticed something. Passwords.txt. This is an example of something that I should not have on the computer, but I do not have any permission to view it. Usually if you don't have permission to view a file, you also can't modify it either. What you would need to do in this case is to do sudo-i to get back into root. Root can usually modify anything, so in this case we would do rm-f and then the directory for where this is, and this is in /home/user, which is my name, and then passwords.txt. And then it's also deleted. Of course, you can delete things in this file manager too, and just use move to trash, and then empty trash. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope this helped you understand program and file management better.